Hello, good evening guys, this is Tiny Table Wargames. Now, I am aware it's been a while since I've uploaded. Unfortunately, this is the first time I've pretty much had where I've been able to get to my desk. I've had a few woodworking projects on the go, kind of like as and when, over the past couple of weeks. Unfortunately, they've kind of needed to get done. One of them was kind of a bed frame, so... Anyway, it's not really a review or anything, it's not really a product review, product overview. This is basically a channel direction. Where I plan on going with the channel from this point onwards. I've placed a couple of orders in with 15mm and a couple of 10mm places, so I've got plenty. I've got a massive backlog as it is anyway. In regards of a lot of metal miniatures, I've still got my Dark Elves to finish, but obviously not having access to my desk, not having access to a couple of other bits as well. Just with having timber and tools and stuff in the way. I don't have a garage, so I've pretty much got to do everything like. All my tools have to have like a Hoover attachment to them and whatnot. It's all fun. Anyway, so this is just basically a product, but it's not really a product overview. It's just like a general which way I'm going. So I'm definitely leaning towards the Kings of War in smaller scales. I have been talking to somebody. Hopefully we can discuss it a bit further in the near future. About possibly releasing a variation of 15 to 10mm Kings of War style rules with a dedicated basing system for particular scales. So I think the idea we've thrown around is have an idea for something in regards to have the basing on the just before the index on the back of the book. Yet again, it's something I need to discuss with him a bit further and find out where he wants to go with it and where the idea could lead us, and it'd be quite cool to do. Creating my own rules is something I've wanted to do. A lot of the things that I found with wargaming is it's very easy for existing wargamers to get into. Now, unless you've got somebody to play against who can walk you through the rules, it's not really something that's massively easy to get into. You've got 28mm, so you've got Kings of War, you've got Age of Sigmar. Now, Age of Sigmar for me, I taught my 7-year-old Age of Sigmar. He picked it up no problem. I taught my my ex's eldest son, my kid's mum, so the mum of my 3 children. I taught her son, my stepson, for 7 years, how to play Age of Sigmar, and he picked it up really quick as well. So, I think there is a certain simplicity in certain rule sets and the way things are laid out and possibly worded. Now, there's a lot of people out there, especially young people, that are diagram orientated in regards to learning, in regards to developing like skills and things like that. They base off pictures rather than words. And I found a lot of war games to be quite word orientated, and they kind of like over explain themselves. I think kind of what I'm doing here a little bit. I sound a bit like an idiot, but there's nothing new there. But yeah, obviously, as you can see, I've got a few units on the go. So this is my Imperial Elf army. As you can tell, guys, I've actually got a slightly better camera system now. Well, not necessarily a camera system, I'm still using my S7, but you're actually on a tripod at a reasonable height, at a reasonable angle, which I think is quite cool. My tripod is quite tall. Not too tall to cause a problem, just tall enough to get a nice close-in view, and you're seeing it through a wide-eye lens as well, which is another fantastic thing. However, this phone clip I'm not too happy with. So I'm just waiting on my microphone. A company did send me out a microphone. They sent the wrong one out, and the one they sent was faulty, so I've got to send that back. But I did order a purple Panda lavalier microphone, so hopefully that'll improve things just a little bit more there as well. But yeah, general direction of the channel, obviously now I've got things organised and sorted out, and I've got my desk space back. Obviously I will be getting into sort of basing, so I use 2mm black plastic card to do my bases, So these are obviously for Kings of War, but the basing system I've gone for is the 50mm frontage by 20mm per troop. So this would be a regiment at minimum model count, which is 11 miniatures. But I think they look quite cool. Yeah, I'm aware I've got to paint them like this. I'm aware I've got to base them while they're lined up like this. However, I'm not going into massive detail painting with them. So the bases, if I've got 2 units of, there we go. Right, so as you can see, my son's on Dead Army, which he still thinks are quite cool. But yeah, I mean, just look at that sheer size comparison. But as you can see, the bases are pretty much the same width and the same depth overall. But just the size comparison in miniatures is unreal. So obviously all my 50mm stuff has come from Alternative Armies, and all my 10mm stuff at the moment has come from Pendraken. I have looked into a little bit of Kallistra miniatures. However, it says on their website that it's 12mm. I know it's not going to make much of a difference. I know the scale at 2mm, but at 10mm scale, that 2mm could be a big difference. But obviously it's within the 10 to 15mm scale, so more than likely I'll be picking some up in the near future. For some reason everything seems to be a little bit blurry, but yeah, you've got archers, which I think are quite cool, from Alternative Armies. I've got a little miniature which I will be doing a review in the next day or so, which is this guy. Probably give him a primer, get him on a decent base, and then base him and get him reviewed and washed down and ready to go. Now, however, this is one I will be doing, and this was really kind of like an impulse buy. I've never been a big fan of orcs and goblins. Yeah, there's going to be people in the wargaming world saying you like fantasy wargaming, but you don't like orcs and goblins. Yeah, I'm an elves guy. It mainly came from the Black Library books. I kind of fell in love with. Not necessarily fell in love with, but one character that stood out to me was Malekith, the Witch King. So that's kind of where it all came from. But here we have my 10mm Pendraken goblins. So this is something that is going to be fun. Obviously, yet again, I'll be cutting all my bases out and everything else on top of that. I'll probably do quite a lot of them after this video, to be honest, just to get a few things going and on the way. That's obviously a standard troop size base, I believe. Yeah, so just under 20mm, so that was a fail. Yeah, I am quite particular with my measurements. Picked up a few more paints. Now, the cool thing I like, boys in my local town centre have started stocking game colour. Up until their recent move, they only stocked model colour, which I was kind of bummed out about, so that's why I ended up getting a couple of model colour for when I did a couple of World War II miniatures a while ago. I should have one knocking around actually. But yeah, never really got into the 20mm World War II stuff. You're playing Germans, you paint in green. You play Americans, you paint in green. You play the Russians, you paint in green. Playing the British, you paint in green. It's just everything's green. But yeah, anyway, back to regular programming as of now. Now that I'm in a better position, hopefully things will be a bit more consistent and a bit more forthcoming and sort of more regular from this point onwards. As I say, guys, I do really apologise for the delay and the time it's taken to get this video out, just as a little channel update. I know it's not much, I know it's not a review. However, there will be a couple on the horizon in the very near future. Yeah, guys, thank you for watching anyway. Keep it tiny, keep it on the tabletop. Peace out, enjoy yourselves.